2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, almost $1,400 a head. 1387.
That's like $2 a pound.
Almost.
I don't mean to be like rude.
You're
but
up. We're live.
at the bottom.
We're live. Okay, we're back.
Can't tell me.
Yay! Thank you, ladies. Thanks, Lori. So our next agenda item is a budget workshop. This is going to go till about 3, and then we have a public hearing after that. And we're going to do solid waste and buildings and grounds. And we may even discuss solid waste fees for personal property and commercial today. However, we haven't heard anything back from Travis yet, have we?
And I just, we put the claim in extending his contract or additional money, for him to.
Did he get a list from you as far as all the commercials though? Can you give him that
Recently,
list?
Well, I gave him what we had.
Okay.
It had,
Because I think what that's going to
1,000
do is
pages on it.
that's going to show which commercials are really heavy hitters and which commercials aren't. And then we can maybe look at a different commercial rate as far as yardage or tonnage. We went through this 8 years ago, and we had so many different fees that we decided to make it easy and charge them all one. And it was a nightmare to try and keep track of all that. What happens is the heavy hitters will start weighing their trash, and then they'll want something different.
Yeah.
Anyway, let's go down this commercial budget. You guys have it with you. Before we start, we have an increase from Lakeshore for 8.6. Are you sure that's what CPI is?
It's actually 8.9.
Is it really? So then some of these numbers are going to have to jump that much.
Yeah, so now technically speaking, to stay in our bylaws of our contract, which I don't think when we set this meeting up, to be honest with you, I'm not sure that this is the appropriate meeting for me to have joined. For this portion of it, if you guys want input for commercial and other prices, that's great. But for this part, this would be considered an action item. And I always present our increase every year. I haven't for the last 2 years because with the pandemic and everything, we decided that we're not going to do any. You remember that we didn't do any increases for 2 years. Anything over 3%, according to our contract, has to be approved by the commission board. So that really needs to be put on as an action item. But yes, it is 8.6% on the national average.
And I think, yes, we do need an action item to either approve or deny that. But knowing the fact that you haven't had an increase for 2 or 3 years, it's probably going to go through.
Correct.
Okay, but it's okay now. We know today for budget purposes, we can go ahead and proceed.
Okay.
And make sure you get it as an action item with Rita or Gabby or Doug or somebody next week or two so that we can approve
Can
that.
you put me down for something, please? I thought that's actually what we were doing this time, but I misunderstood.
So I just want to make sure that I'm straight in my little brain that we're talking about long haul, MRF charges, recycling, and not landfill, right? Not tipping fees.
No, the increase is not.
What
That
else?
would have
What am
to
I
come-
forgetting?
So everything that you named is correct, but it's also the residents.
Oh, the household fees?
Yeah, so their subscription to us will also increase 8.6%.
Okay. So that's the $52 for 3 months, a quarter now. That's going to go up 8% too.
Correct.
Okay, so Rita, we need to make sure we keep track of that. Is there anything else you can think of, Scott? Recycle, transfer, long haul.
Yeah, so for the county portion of it,
What is that? What is it for my budget wise?
for your budget, it's 8.6.
Across the board for everything?
Yes, that will be I know that our trucking and our labor at the transfer station is separated, but it'll be an increase of 8.6%.
You're charging us by the ton to haul that off and to operate the site, so.
Correct.
All those will go up 8.6. Okay.
The 11,
11.7.
11.7 that the recycle center was at for this long will go up 8.6%. So that's what affects. Well, the Yellow Pine Run will go up 8.6%. Anything, I mean, as far as affecting the county goes, anything that the county pays for, it'll see that increase, but the residents will see that increase as well.
So it's pretty much across the board.
Just straight across the board.
Yeah.
138,000.
But there's certain things that the county pays for,
And then other people don't, yeah.
and then the people that subscribe to our subscription,
But they will be treated the same.
correct.
Yeah.
So Rita, for example, recycling will go from 138,000 to 149,868. I just make it an even 150,000.
But we haven't had an increase.
Gotta look at though, I mean, you're looking at what it is there, and I'm looking at what percentage I've used of that so far this year.
Yeah, this is 47%.
And I got the five here now, cause these don't. Yeah, I've, as of May 30th, I've only used 30% of that budget.
The number, and I don't know, the one we got from Gabby and Doug shows it at, God, my eyes are playing tricks.
47%.
Where the hell did it go? There it is. 47%. We spent 64,816.
Yeah.
You don't have those numbers?
Well, mine are, like I say, I'm using the numbers that I've actually spent. That I got, the end of May.
This is on June 23rd, up to June 23rd.
Okay.
That's from this morning,
Well, see,
it's 23rd.
that report hasn't come out yet because we haven't reached the end of the month.
Right.
I'm at 39% as the end of May, which is 8 months into my budget.
think
So
you're-
I haven't even used half of it, and I'm 8 months into the year.
So
So,
how does that affect this 8%? I mean,
well, what's gonna happen is,
That doesn't affect,
no.
he's talking about next year.
yeah, I'm not
How
talking
much to
budget
put
for
in
next
for-
year. I wonder if I have to increase it, because I've only used 8 months into it. Basically 40% of my budget.
Well, if you do 11.7 per month times 12 months, that's 140,000.
Well, I'm not, now we're going to recycle.
I'm just talking about recycling.
Yeah, I've used 39,000. Yeah, I can go to that, but I've only spent so far at the end of May $53,000 of that 138,000. So what I'm saying, if that
Yeah, June.
138 is still sufficient to cover an 8% increase.
June, July,
You have for
August.
11.7?
Oh, I see where you're going. You're
140?
saying you've got enough money to
That's
cover
12.
that increase.
Absorb that increase without
Basically, yeah.
raising that budget.
Yeah.
Because like I say, at the end of May 31st, I spent 53,000 of the 138. In 4 more months, I'm not gonna burn another, 60%, and use that budget up.
I don't know how that works because we're paying them 11,700 a month to run the recycling program. Times 12 months, that's pretty, I don't know why it's off.
Yeah, I don't either, because
Well, and you said 100.
this is a report that was sent to me for up to the end of May.
Does it show the breakdown of how many 11.7s you?
No,
That would only be
It just
2.
gives me a total of what I spent and the percentage of what I spent.
And the reason that 47% is on that report is because you just paid that again.
Yeah, the May claim went through.
This says clear as of 6/23.
Yeah, we just paid another one today.
So
So
really,
still,
next year. with
I
the
got 4 more
increase-
months and I still haven't, I haven't spent, I've only spent, in 8 months, I spent 50% of my budget. I'm not gonna, so I'm just
There's something haywire there, Scott, because it should be pretty easy to figure that out.
Yeah,
What was your total budget? That's why the percent.
138,000 should.
And
Well,
it should have
technically
been,
speaking, that wasn't enough.
140,400
And 152,474 with the increase.
with the increase.
I mean, Scott, if we're paying 11 something a month, I
We
mean, you
got
can't.
different numbers
it's
coming out on
impossible to
reports, so we gotta,
It has to do with the dates on the reports.
do that.
But even let's go down
Well, if
to,
I've done 11.7 of 8 months, I should almost have spent $100,000. And it doesn't, these reports don't reflect that, so something's,
let's be the bookkeeper. I don't know what to tell you.
I'll see what she can do when she's not
Yeah, like
in the
I say,
commissioners meeting.
11.7 at 8 months, we should spend a lot more than $40,000, $47,000.
No, there's something not correct there.
It's
Well,
like
you're paying a
4
month
months
in,
worth.
in the rears on top of that.
No, but that's only like 4 months worth, you know, at $11,700.
You can run an FN 200 and we'll get done.
What is the end of our fiscal year? October,
September
No, it's
30th.
September.
September
Yes.
31st.
So we're only 4 months away from being at the end of the month.
But our fiscal payments go into October and some into
Right.
November, going back to September.
So this is not the right report anyway.
No,
Run new ones.
Like
if
what
need
you,
them.
what you'll have to do is get this to Doug and Gabby.
So you guys want new ones?
Well, we have the ones that she sent us. I'm assuming this is what they were for.
Yeah, but I can get them.
The latest and greatest as of today.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because like I say, this is up.
This is,
This is up to May 31st, and it says I spent, you know, $53,000, which is only 39% of my budget, and that's wrong. It should be, you know, it's almost 7 months. That should be 80.
I'm trying to figure out how that works.
$80,000. So something's going on here.
Yeah, we're just gonna have to take the information today, and then
Yeah.
when
go
Doug
back
and Gabby are here, we'll have to go back through this again. But what I'd like to do, Scott, while you're here, is go down and look at some of the other ones. The big one was,
Big one is the long haul.
well, that one in where is it? Capital Buildings. We jumped that one up from 100,000 to 800,000 on the second page
Yeah, it's right here.
near the
Capital.
bottom. And what were the plans for that? We were going to do the roof over recycling.
Mm-hmm.
And do you remember, is that bid still good?
Well, that's a day-by-day bid with the price of steel, so, and it has to even be approved by capital improvement yet, I mean, you know, if it doesn't get approved in there, then that money won't go in.
Well, the reason I bring that up is because we got a bid for the shop, for the road department, for their 120 by 100, it was 3.2 million. All of a sudden, R&M has really jumped up their prices.
See, that's just, yeah, and I'm sure it's the same, that's just to fabricate the steel.
Doesn't it put it up or
and Just
anything?
deliver it to the site, and we have the additional cost
Build
of
it.
finding a contractor that can, you know, do a job like that, that's got the bonding and the licensing.
And what, do you remember what that bid came in at for that building?
Like 675,
And how much it was?
yeah. It's almost, by the time we get to next year, it's, I think the steel was, I didn't bring it with me, it was like $360,000 or $70,000, and if it goes up 10%, it'll be $400,000. Then you have concrete and labor putting it all together. So we're almost
So this
$700,000.
this extra 700 grand might be enough to do that roof. Was there anything else that we wanted to do?
That's all I wanted to try and do next year. Following year, want to look at, you know, doing a new baler and the, you know, building and stuff.
Well, my feeling on that new baler, I think it's time, but let's just use it for cardboard and put it in a different facility and use the old baler where it is for the cans and plastic. How do you feel about that?
I'm good with that.
And I was up there the other day looking
That's
at
not
it.
what I want to try to do with it, but that's, you know.
Well, I want your
I'd
input.
like to just get rid of the baler totally and use that building for storage of the stuff we baled in the building that we're gonna attach to it. And, cause the new baler we were looking at will do all the stuff much quicker. It will be auto tie, so they won't be in there hand tying cans and plastic and colored paper. I mean, this thing's gonna pack it, tie it, and kick it out, you know.
And what was that one? Do you remember? That was over 500 grand.
Oh, yeah, that was just for that, and then the recess conveyor, like another 150,000. We're probably looking a couple $1 million between that and to construct a building, because with the building construction, we're looking at putting like the blocks in there and creating bays for, because sometimes they don't have enough cans or plastic to do a complete bale, so they're gonna have to store it till enough more so they could, you know, push it into bays that they could take it back out of once they use later on the load stuff. So we're
So,
trying to look at, you know, big picture with that thing, how we can do it and have it so it's, they can dump the trucks in there and not have to
Mm-hmm.
do the back and forth game and everything else. That's a problem with that build. The other building, they can't and pull forward, or they can just so far, and then they gotta back up, and then we're pushing it, it's right in the way of where they gotta load it. It's a totally bad design. So I'd like I said, I'd like to just kick that thing out of there and try and use it for storage, especially the cardboard and stuff that if it gets wet and snowed on is, you know, instead of hauling it clear out to containers or relocate the containers closer to the building. You know, in the winter, it's not real conducive to haul them bales clear out through the bumpy snow and
so
ice and everything else to try to fit them in a container to
Right,
keep them dry so that they're sellable.
Having them in that building, having that building.
sorry, guys, but I'm kind of not in this conversation. I'm trying to understand it. I apologize.
Okay.
But, you know, do we have a plan that we're talking about here? I mean, you know, talking about, I'm hearing we're going to kick this out in the next building and whatever. Is there a capital improvement plan that this is part of? I mean, what are
We
we
haven't presented that one because I'm not gonna try and do it in the 23 budget year. Cover for the recycle center is gonna be budgeted for the 23 budget year. For the 24 budget year, I wanna come to the capital improvement committee with
with
a
another
plan
plan?
for that building and a new baler.
Okay, so when you look at that, I mean, you're saying, well, I want to get the baler out of that, do someplace else. You're talking about building another fairly large structure.
Mhm.
You'd like to have a place for a baler and use this one
Mhm.
for storage.
Yeah,
Is that what I'm hearing?
yeah.
And then,
Attach to it and come off of it
Yeah.
and go west.
so what other things are we going to need to include in that recycle? I mean, you know, I mean, I'm looking at, okay, what about, we've been hearing talk about maybe trying to do a glass program. I mean, that's not something we've approved or anything like that, but
Well, I think that this conversation is
Yeah.
for next year's budget,
yeah,
because that building's not even in the,
right.
It's not in consideration for the next year.
But what I'm thinking is when they put that together, we need to be, it needs to be some sort of a legible plan that we all kind of understand what's going on.
Well, yeah, and I think we all need to sit together and
Yeah.
have that discussion. And
Yeah.
And include things looking several years down the road. What are we gonna need? We're gonna need other space as time goes on. You know, for other little tools that we're gonna probably expand in.
I think this next year, all we're going to concentrate on is getting a roof
Yeah,
over the
that's what-
recycled
yeah.
side of
Get
it.
that covered up and stuff. And
Right. So that's where this conversation needs to be, is that immediate, this budget, right?
And I think what I would do
Looking at
is,
right now is we need to take the budget numbers I have and look at, see if the existing budget will absorb the 8.6 increase and without having to add, or if we need to raise them up, what percentage we need to
to
cover
keep,
that.
to keep status quo at 150 a ton. That's gonna go up $12.90 at 8.6%. So the county would have to raise the commercial fee to $162.90. My suggestion would be is for the county to raise that, their next percentage on top of that. In other words, the county should be raising it 10%, 9.6, 9.5. That way, when you have cost of living wages, you know, raises, things like that, the county has the money to be able to help that. So if you do it straight across the board, you're gonna stay status quo as you are right now. But if you give you increase the fees 10%, you're going to cover the 8.6, plus you're gonna be able to cover other operating.
That's the one I have.
And,
I just read that.
and,
That's up to date.
not upgrades, but, you know.
Oh, this is
building,
today,
things
this is
like
six
that.
twenty.
That way you're covering that cost, because right now you're probably not covering.
Yeah, you're saying just go ahead and project another 1.5% or thereabouts. Kind of cover
There's one there, Fred.
miscellaneous expenses that go along with this.
Well, there's some things that won't go up
Scott.
that much, like the telephone, the internet,
Yeah.
electricity.
But we do have the,
And we do need to talk about that rent lease heavy equipment. Cause we didn't, that's at 10,000, we need to jump that up. What was it, 50 grand to rent that?
yeah, but we already did that for this year. You guys already approved it for
What,
this
are
year.
we gonna do it again next year?
So, I'm glad you brought that up, because that's a point of discussion that we need to discuss, is that these rates, this 8.6 and where we will be at as of today, are where they're at. If the county decides that they want to continue that program and they want us to, that to be part of our scope of work, then the rates are going to change again, go up so that we can cover the cost of the equipment and the labor and everything else that goes along with that. So as of today, the way everything sits, the existing rates are gonna be like 8.6%. But if we decide to change something, say in September or whatever we do, we say, hey, in 2023, Lakeshore, your new scope of work is this, and we sit down and we had hashed out on the contract, then we will come back with, or at the same time, we will hash out what the new rates would be of where they're at that time. Does that make, am I making sense? I hope I'm making. Am I making sense, El? Mr. Hasbro?
Yeah, what we do is, what do we do, amend the contract for
We
you
would
guys?
amend the contract for the scope of work.
For the scope of work.
Specifically at the MRF, or at the transfer station.
So what I did is the rent lease, which we budgeted for 10,000, they added another 50,000, so it's gonna be 60, and then we'll take that times 8.6% for next year.
No.
No?
We would,
Because we have labor costs too.
no, because we wouldn't give you an 8.6% increase on a rental fee.
But we still gotta do the 50,000 that we spent this year.
And that's where I'm saying, if we change the scope of work within Lakeshore's contract agreement with the county, so in September, let's just say, the county says, okay, Scott, that worked really well, the brush pile did great, we wanna amend the contract so that you guys now
Do that.
do that. We will then go purchase the equipment,
Okay.
because now we've changed it, right? Because in the contract, it says we're gonna chip it, which obviously, I don't wanna bring up the burn, but we burn it, right? So now we're
Well,
changing,
It doesn't say chipping, it says contractor shall manage the woody debris collection site, which shall include sorting, stacking, and processing. So you should have been sorting and stacking it all along. And processing and removal, it doesn't specifically say if burning it is processing and removing it. You know, so from what the contract says, we should have had an excavator up there all along to stack and sort it. Loaders weren't adequate to do it.
Yeah, and I agree with you, but I think that was before we started separating the construction from the woody debris. Because it used to be, it was all one pile.
Okay, well, still.
So now we make people sort it when they unload it.
Well, I don't know, I guess what the definition of the woody debris was. I mean, this, was.
Yeah.
can I see what you're reading? Scott?
Yeah, this is the current contract
Some
I was
has
given
off
after you
pages.
guys. worked it out with
Off pages?
and stuff. So, That's the current one I refer.
Is this the same ones you gave me?
I don't know which one you have, if you have a different one.
I'm
I'd
sure.
like to have you send it to me.
Okay.
But we know that recycle, long haul, MRF operations,
If you look here,
Okay.
and not tipping fees. No, not tipping fees. What else, Scott?
You've got 2 or 3 years.
Recycle, long haul, MRF,
Yeah, the operation,
Okay.
the side up there.
times 8.6%.
Yeah, transfer station operation, long haul, recycle, low
and
fine.
the other one's buildings and grounds. That's this.
So would Warm Lake go up too, right?
Yeah, cause that's,
Yellow Pine and,
yeah,
Solid waste.
it's really not called out. I think it just falls under the long haul. I don't have a line item just for yellow pine.
We do, there is a line item when we bill it.
Yeah, how we code it when I claim it, I
Okay.
don't have a claim line, you know,
Okay.
I say it just comes out of long haul, is what it basically does.
Well, you guys have the ability to break it down.
Yeah, but like I said, I don't have a line item to fill out. Yellow pine is a separate line item.
Scott, do you have 3 pages of the solid waste? 1, 2, and 3? Upper right-hand corner?
So here's what I'll say about the scope of work of the woody debris, and here's where the confusion sets in. The sorting, the stacking, the processing, and the removal. Sorting, to Mr. Hasbrook's point, was, you know, when everything was kind of mixed together and we were kind of sorting it out. So our sorting becomes, you know, if there's tires or there's construction debris or there's plastic or there's things like that, we're sorting that material out of that. We're stacking the collection of the material, which the loader was pushing the pile. Where the problem came in was the shipping of the material.
that was a separate deal, wasn't it?
Well, it's all part of this
Disposal.
exhibit C1. We were, whatever the cost
Yeah,
was,
page 2 is over.
Plus 15%.
we didn't do that. You know that.
No, but we budgeted 50 grand for wood grinding this year, and it didn't even come close.
It should have been 30,
35 or something.
35.
35.
Yeah, I don't think you guys have even gotten the bill yet.
Yeah, we've gotten 2 bills. He's done, pulled the stuff out, didn't complete his job up there.
Nope, he didn't.
Brought his caddy in, and we paid about a little over about 13,000 for chipping, and then he sent me a bill for $550 for 5.5 hours of cat work, and then disappeared.
Yep. I won't be inviting him back.
I don't think he wants to come back, but yeah, I understand that, yeah.
But what I'm saying is for us, this is why the scope of work needs to be rewritten, okay? Because to Scott's point, according to the contract, yes, we should be having these. We were able to sort it. Now we're sorting it in a different manner. Now we're saying, hey, to be able to burn it, because we're not chipping it, we need to sort in a different manner. Before, we were able to control the pile with the loader. We just pushed it up and we burned it. Now we're going to a different way of doing it. We need to sort the stumps out, which was never, you know,
And the big
part of
loads.
it, and the fire type wood that we can sort out of that. That requires an excavator. Since the burning started in 15 or 16 or whatever year it was, Lakeshore has not gotten cost plus 15%, so has not been actually paid to manage those piles up there. So
Well-
that's why this scope of work needs to be changed and rates need to increase because we're not getting the 15% managing that pile.
But if I remember, and I could be wrong here, Scott, is the trade-off was we split the rental of the cat
Correct.
so that you guys wouldn't have to do that, if I remember correct.
That was our
Agreement.
our handshake.
But I agree with you. I think we need to sit down with Oak and go through this whole contract again and get it organized.
Correct.
Because we have so many
This leaves
amendments and addendums and off-cuff, agreements that we need to.
Right. Because this leaves it to Scott's point, it does appear that we should have an excavator up there. But there's been so many handshake off the cuff deals made with rental equipment and we're paying for half the rental equipment, but we're not charging 15% on top of that. We're just paying that. And so that's where we've gone several years without being subsidized for the woody debris pile and the construction pile. We do get subsidized on the tires at 15% and the metal at 15%. But the other piles that we put forth the effort that we do not. So that being said, that's why this scope of work, if the county says we want you to sort that out, pull the stumps out, pull the firewood out, we're gonna donate the firewood, whatever the county decides they wanna do, then the rates are going to have to increase because we don't have a way to be, there's not that 15% there to cover anything. So we have to adjust the other rates for the long haul to be able to, and the sorting of the material. Does that make sense? So that's why I say that.
Just kind of fall into Mr. Hasbrook's suggestion that we just get together, kind of do a work session and a revision of this contract and get all that stuff spelled out clearly.
Yeah, but all we're doing today is making sure that we go back through these numbers. We know that your costs are going up 8.6%. And I wrote myself some notes here to give to Doug and Gabby. But I would like to go through some of the others, and I agree with you, Ed. We need to sit down and with Okie and solidify all this kind of I'm not going to say redo the contract because then we have to go out and we have to do
It's
all
gotta
that.
be
It'd just be
it's a scope of
amendments.
work. Downstairs in Okie's office on his truck, on his grease board,
He's got it.
it says contract with Lakeshore, scope of work. So he's had that note there for a while. But here's what I want the board to think about here, and Scott, is it's all about timing. So if today you say 8.6% and you budget just for that 8.6%, then if in December you decide that you want Lakeshore to change the scope of work and we go out and buy the excavator and we get all the stuff to be able to do it, now that's going to increase. We're going to have to come in for a rate increase, which then is going to throw your budget off.
And that's why I think, we can go back and look at these numbers. Somewhere I just saw it was for us to rent equipment, at least heavy equipment, which we've got at 10,000. And I think that number should probably go up.
I would pull it out of there.
Well, it depends. Like I say, if they're gonna go through the.
If they're gonna buy it,
Yeah, then we're not.
It's gonna be ongoing, you're going.
You do away with that, and I would still keep some in there in case we gotta rent something. But then, we in turn have gotta do a rate increase to compensate for their expenditure and labor of taking care of it. So we don't need to raise that to 60,000 because we're not gonna have that rental fee. They're gonna purchase a piece of equipment and be compensated with a rate increase.
okay, so then let's just kind of go down some of these, Scott.
Be where it's at for right now.
I think that makes sense to me. Let's just start at the top with utilities on page 2. Telephone, we're gonna leave that the same. Cell phone, we're gonna leave that the same. Do we really need that? Because we only spent like $1,000, a little over maybe. Why is that 12,000?
I have 1,200. You're talking about
I have 12,000.
utilities dash
Yep.
slash internet?
Yep.
Yeah, I have 1,200 budgeted.
Huh.
And,
12,000 over here.
we've only spent 449.
Okay, so I'm gonna scratch that off and put 1,200.
Yeah, that's what that is. That's just,
Okay, then we'll go on down, electricity, that's been about the same,
yeah.
3,000.
There hasn't been anything allotted for that 3,000.
4,300.
We spent 1981 last year, or so far this year.
See, I'm at 85% of the budget already. And
How much did you show?
What's that?
How much you show spent there at 85?
2,535.
Well, 3,000 should cover that.
Well, I'm 85% with 4 more months to go.
You want to jump that up to what?
I think with this with Doug at 4,300.
Okay, so we'll put 4,300 because we don't have anything.
Yeah.
Okay?
So we're
Next one
changing
down.
that line to 43, or
Yeah.
adding it, yeah.
Next one down, electricity recycle, and that's at 12,000.
Yeah, that one is.
And you're 68%.
Well, this one, the line items are kind of backwards because I think I'm showing.
What are we spending on power down there? Is that just to keep it hot or warm during the winter?
Well, that machine, that thing runs, that's for the whole site there, plus that 3-phase baler. I mean, that thing is going through power.
What do you show we spent this year so far?
Well, I'm not sure if it's accurate, 'cause I think it's backwards. I'm sure it's only spent $3,900.
Look on the one that you got today.
Oh, no, we got today's 8,161 at 68% of the
I
year.
only, yeah,
You've got all 3 pages.
no, I only have 2 pages. Too many different pages. I have my
Yeah,
budget.
I have no
worksheet
page
budget
2.
They gave me, that's the numbers.
That's the number you're going off of?
They gave me, I'm not,
Well, let's leave that one at 12,000. I think it'll be enough to cover it.
yeah, cause I think the bill for recycling is getting paid out of the transfer site electrical bill and the other way around, so.
It's been corrected.
Oh, got switched, okay.
Isn't it?
It has been corrected.
Yeah, cause the other,
Okay, so then let's go on down to repairs, maintenance.
where? The transfer site?
And
They
recycle.
half.
We pay half.
You don't pay anything for the recycle. We pay it all.
I just paid the half.
And you
Today.
pay half for the transfer site power.
Paid today.
We good on that? Let's move on down. Rents, repairs of buildings and fixtures, we've got that at 11,500.
Yep.
Last year we spent, or so far this year we spent 93, and I'm assuming that's gravel,
For the what?
the recycle floor,
That's,
or is that somewhere else?
that's repairs, that's for basically for the transfer site.
Oh, just for transfer.
Yeah, and we redid all the fans in there, the lights.
It's 11, what else you gotta do in there? Is it
Well,
11,500?
what I need to do is, I need to side the scale house, or the actual scale cover. We need to get siding on that to keep the snow from blowing in there. We'll see if we can get it sided up both sides, so we can not have the freeze up and problems we have in there.
Yeah, we used to
So
have to
trying to
crawl
scrape
under
it
there
off.
and chip all that ice off on those sensors to get
We
it
had
to
the
work.
trouble last year, we lost a load cell and like that, or the hammer and screwdriver trying to,
Chip it out.
chip it out, so.
That's good.
Just to try to make maintenance, or,
Sure.
so we don't have to try to run a loader or something there and scrape it off and things, so,
So you're gonna do the west side and the south side and the north side?
yeah, basically the way it sits, yeah. Can't do the ends because I gotta drive in and out, so,
Unless you have doors.
yeah, so what,
I don't know if 11.5 is enough to do that, is it?
well, I've got 8,000 left. I mean, it's just metal studs from the concrete up and,
Technically, you could probably use wood.
It has a roof, doesn't it?
Yeah. So and it's
Remember.
got concrete up 4 or 5 foot, so we just need to frame
from
it
there
up
up.
to the roof and then just screw metal on.
You know, the old
sides.
timers used to just put up mosquito screening
Yeah.
in their porches in the fall, and that kept the snow from blowing in.
Scott, what about just an awning so you wouldn't have to have it year round? Just pull that down on each side.
don't know.
You got the
get
bypass for
wind
the
going, You got
empties?
the wind coming through it. I
Yeah.
think needs to be something a little, like I say, either wood framed or metal stud framed and.
Well,
So you're saying you want to leave it at 11,500, you think it'll be enough? Okay. We're gonna move on down, we're gonna be here all day. Repairs, recycling.
That was way over because we had the issues with the baler, the rebuilding the end of it and the pump going out and everything else, so.
We got all new parts on the plunger side now, so that thing should work pretty good for a
Yeah.
while.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't think 15,000 is enough.
Okay.
You want to go another 10 on top of that?
That's fine, Kate. Like I say, it's kind of rebuilt right now, the new hydraulic pump and the plunger and knives and the alignment, the bars in it. So, I don't foresee anything serious going wrong with it, but who knows
It's really a fairly simple machine. It's just,
it's,
let's take that up to 25,000 and then we can use that for any other repairs that we might want to
that
do.
kind of covers the whole recycle centers with it.
Yeah, the gravel and all that stuff.
Yeah. Mhm.
Okay, woody debris collection. I'm not sure what this is.
It's kind of what we pay Firewise and Meckel and those guys. I mean, it doesn't really.
That should come out of
Firewise comes out of.
Title III funds, shouldn't it be coming?
I'm not sure, because we spent 9,000, almost 10,000 according to, and when this was public or was run.
I'm gonna put,
So
They have
I'm
the
not sure who we're-
contracts. There are contracts with subdivisions where we pay half of the woody debris collection, they pay the other half.
wouldn't that
Then
still come out of Title III though?
you have to.
Title III has to come off of federal land, don't it? I mean, so this is all private.
Yeah, like we've only gone through as of when this was generated, 10,000 of the 30. So I don't know if it
So when we
stay the same.
ask you this question, and again, when we do this wooded debris thing, you got 30,000 budgeted for this. What's the idea of that?
Keep people from burning.
Oh, from burning.
No, but-
That was what the fire department here the other day when we were in a meeting. He said that their permits went from,
Right, I understand,
that's what it's for.
but
It's like the containers they have by the fire stations and
right,
everything.
that's not McCall or,
Well,
Well, McCall has one right in the corner on the bypass. They have
Right.
2 of them there and stuff. So, and I think Meckel runs those, don't they?
but who pays for
So
that?
then what?
That's the city, isn't it?
No, that's us. That's part
Who
of.
pays for that?
Yeah. Like say Meckel hauls that, and he generally hauls it to the
Lake
lake
Fork?
shore or the lake.
Lake Fork Shop.
Lake Fork out there in that area. And I think he has one of his own too back in there.
What is he?
I believe so.
Well, I'm gonna, put a note here to talk to Doug and Gabby about why this isn't paid by Title III. Or what is this exactly?
Yeah,
Mine is what it was to pay like Meckel to pick up those containers that they have spread out throughout the
I
valley.
thought that don't burn it was a city thing.
No, it's
No,
it's a county thing.
it's a county thing.
Yeah.
Hey, rent, lease, heavy equipment, we're gonna leave it 10,000. You're gonna buy the excavator next year, you're gonna redo that scope of work so that you're compensated for that and the operator.
And that is what you want to do?
I think so, yeah.
Okay, then
I think
will-
it's gonna work great
Then I will get to work on that, okay.
when we burn that pile. Hopefully it'll
I
do a
might
lot
be
better
able, I
job.
might be able to get you those numbers prior to next year with the budget.
And then we
That'd
gotta
be
look
great.
at what we're gonna do about grinding the pile. So,
I have a plan for that, if this is the time to talk about it.
well,
I found another guy that can grind it.
Okay.
And instead of hauling it off,
Mhm.
just grind it and we'll spread it out.
You're talking construction waste, not woody debris.
C&D
We could
pile.
actually do both.
No, we wanna burn the other stuff. What
Yes,
kind of a
it's-
cost?
I don't know exactly what the cost will be, but it'll be relatively the same as what we paid this year.
What I have heard about using chips from construction waste is there's too much glue in it to use on your garden.
We're not gonna do that.
No, he's not about spreading it on the site.
We're talking about right on site. We're just gonna, we may even buy a tub grinder. I don't know. Lakeshore may even buy a tub grinder, but we're just gonna grind it and then we're just gonna spread
Spread it out, huh?
spread it out right on the ground. It's great for the ground. It's gonna give us,
It'll build your base.
yeah, and so we'll just grind
It'll
it.
certainly help in the mud season, won't
So
it?
anyway,
Yeah,
let's
exactly.
explore this just a little bit farther.
This is the
Um,
contract I was talking
I had this conversation with one of your
about. That money is
employees
being paid out of
the other
that.
day, James. He's talking about his brother being in this business, and are we talking maybe the same group here? Okay, so
Half of that is,
we
That
keep,
we
keep
pay
talking
half.
about pollen and burning and this thing and that.
okay.
But don't,
Then the rest comes
shouldn't we
from
maybe
about three.
more futuristically
The
be looking,
companies.
just what you're talking about?
Homeowners
Just get
associations.
a grinder up there, just plan on always doing that. And just do away with this burning program. And figure out a way to get that into a market some way.
Well, the
That's
market
not
would be to,
entirely- So, I guess, that's how you interpret the contract. In some ways, it's up to me how that works, but in others, it's really up to the county and what they wanna spend. I mean, you know, it's not my position to decide what happens there.
Right.
My position is we contract to the county and I do what the Board of Commissioners decide is the best thing to do. If they come to me and say, we want you to grind everything and burn the stumps, then that's what we will do. So yes, James's brother is who I was referring to, and he is one that also sells tub grinders. And so that's exactly what I was referring to. And, you know, we may purchase a tub grinder, depending, you know, just it'd be a big expense all at once, tub grinder and an excavator. We'd be looking at probably close to $1 million or 800,000.
Yeah. So,
However, as far as the brush pile being chipped and looking for a market, that is something that Valley County needs to make the decision on. And once they do that, then we will, again, the scope of work, right? We as the contractor would then follow the guidance from Valley County.
and we have a market with Tamarack Mill, but it's not very
it
profitable.
doesn't pay for it.
So we'd have to pay you guys to long haul it over there.
I think for right now, the best thing that we can do is figure out how we're gonna tub grind the C&D material. We're gonna spread it on the ground. We're getting the firewood decked off to the side. We'll let it season. Next year, you guys can decide if you wanna donate it to Woodstock or the Elkhorn Church, or I think it's Elk Meadow, anyways.
Yeah.
The church, we can donate it there. I don't think you guys really want people up there cutting firewood. And we've got the stump separated. And then we'll have the brush that we will burn. I think that
At least
is-
short term.
I think that's, in my opinion, this is just me being your contracted trusted advisor.
Right.
I would continue to burn that.
It's,
I don't believe that we are not in a geographical location to be able to do a mulching program that would be very profitable, or for that matter, even pay for itself.
No, it's gonna cost money all the way around because we don't create enough.
It doesn't create a good mulch.
Yeah.
I mean, it's highly acidic because of the needles and stuff.
And to
It
bring
doesn't
in
make
the
it
other
good.
material that you
Yeah.
need to make it,
Yeah.
because every place that you see it that have these different, like the Payette landfill and stuff that have these different programs for mulching. There's a company out of Boise that's doing the same thing. They have to add material, different things to their existing product that they're getting to be able to make it a mulch. And geographically, I mean, if you ever tried to grow a watermelon up here, it's next to impossible without a greenhouse. We have 68 days without frost. And you have to create heat, and you have to water it, and you have to turn it, and you have to have the room, and we're not in a geographical location.
And the dry carbon material to mix into the green.
Exactly.
I understand that, and I really do appreciate your feedback and your suggestion, because, essentially, it started back with the mess that we're doing with the way we were doing it. It sounds like we're well on our way to correcting, that smoke issue. So I mean, I have no problem with burning. Just thinking maybe futuristically, and especially if you guys do get into the grinding business, the market shows up, then we're set up to work. You know, I mean,
Yeah,
Yeah.
if there would be a way that we could do it, but like I said, I think grinding and putting it on the ground, and you know, if there's a little pile there and the county wants to come up there because they want to spread some chips,
yeah,
somewhere, they can come in there and get a bucket full or whatever and go use it for that. As far as
beauty would be having that piece of machinery, having that flexibility.
right, and so I think just us grinding it and spreading it around up there is going to really help with the soil up there. It's going to really combat the mud season that we experience up there.
Right.
So I think we're going to be doing ourselves a favor by doing that. Well, I mean, when I say us, I mean Lake Shore combined with
And the
Valley
county too, yeah.
I think we're doing everybody a favor by doing that because we're combating other problems that not everybody sees.
Well, anyway, we're solving some problems that probably don't have time for in this thing, but I like, I'm glad to
Yeah,
have.
we gotta move on here.
Okay, so miscellaneous expenses,
Yeah,
I just leave it what it is.
1,000,
Yeah,
okay?
there's really not a office supply budget line on here, so like the thermal paper, our way tickets and stuff, I kinda use that
Okay.
to pay for office stuff up there.
Refrigerant disposal.
Yeah, we're at 11.5, currently when this was bid, we were only at 24%, so I think we're
I
probably,
think you're still at 24%.
yeah. Well, so I think we're good at that,
That's probably a little over if the truth is known.
yeah. But,
Okay, then the next one is,
now we're looking at the ones I think we're gonna have to do the costs currently
Right.
plus the 8.6.
what I did, Scott, is I took 11,700 times 12 months and I got the $140,000, 400 times 8.6. That gives me a new budget number of 152.5. I know you're kind of mixed up in where we are in the year, but I think it's going to work out.
Yeah.
Let's
I'm
go on
not
down to
quite sure
transfer
why that
station.
shows I've only used 30% of my budget, but
Well, I did the math on that, and that's only 4.5%.
I know.
Or 4.5
I don't know
months.
what's going on with this budget line.
Okay, the next one is transfer station contract, 695 times.
Plus the 8.6 or multiplied by that.
695,000.
That
Yeah.
gives me 754,077.
Is that for the long haul or the?
That's
Transfer station. 754,770. Tires, did that go up? Is that down?
Well, depends on where we can get rid of them or not.
I was able to get rid of them.
So they
At
can-
least a load last week, yeah.
Yeah.
So you're not gonna see the 8.6% is not going to affect that.
On tires.
No,
On
'cause that's
tires.
cost, yeah.
That's just a cost, and that's whatever they charge.
And you don't get your plus 15% on
We
that?
do. We get the
Okay.
15, but not the 8 points. Like there wouldn't be an
Okay.
8.6% on top of that.
Okay, now let's go to long haul.
Yeah,
Come on, phone.
so,
And that's 775.
yep.
I've seen that.
That number is going to go to 841,650. Okay, contracts, wood grinding. We're just gonna, I guess we're gonna, what I'm thinking is if you guys end up buying a machine, no, that's not where that goes. If you buy a machine, that would be capital equipment. So we know we're gonna have a cost.
See, I don't have a budget line for wood burning on here.
At the very bottom of page 2.
That wood
I
grinding.
go, after long haul, I go to contacts, recycle, snow plowing, which is 0 because we don't do it. And
That's
then I go to
actually-
High Valley credit card machine.
Yeah, that's actually on my next page.
See, I don't have that, you know.
I wrote myself a note here for the wood grinding that Lake
Wood
Shore's gonna.
grinding was just added in.
What page are you missing?
I go from 68 to 69.
Oh,
This is on my worksheet budget.
I was gonna
that
say,
they
he
gave
was
me.
else looking at,
Yeah,
at
this
the-
is what Doug, they gave me to work on the
yeah,
worksheet for the
he's
budget.
looking at the 778 that I gave you.
This is so confusing.
Uh,
You need to work off all the same sheet.
It gets very confusing, Scott. Yeah, you gotta all
That
be on
one.
the same page or doesn't work.
This is not-
Hasbrook,
Yes, sir.
on your line there for.
I don't have it. I only got 2 pages. I don't have
What
3.
page are you guys at right now?
52. We, as of 6/27, we spent 406,849.
The reason I asked is, to Scott's point, we only have 4 months left on that budget. And just so that you guys are aware, I've seen a decrease in tonnage this year.
Oh, good. Really?
So just as a reflection, just so you guys have this information for this, last year for the month of June was $162,000. Now that was total. That included the handling of the material. So that
Oh,
$35 plus, I don't even know what the breakdown is, but that 70. We're coming in at about 125 or 130 this month.
about 30,000 less. So,
I just thought for your
but
budgeting,
with the
Yeah.
people coming up here, I bet it goes back up.
Like I said, I'm looking
we've
at,
seen this all year.
looking at the end of May, remaining in my transfer station budget operations and my long haul, I got $800,000 still left between the two.
You
of
can
them.
write me a check for it, but I'm not gonna use it.
No, we're not gonna write you a check till you send us a bill.
Well, so I guess what I'm saying is you may be okay with, you get a large increase.
That's what
in
I'm
the-
saying, if I've got,
And to your point, there's only 4 months
400,000
left.
left, with 4 months left, I think,
Yeah.
it can absorb that 8.6 and not have to go up that much.
You mean for next year?
Yeah,
Yeah, because your 8.6 doesn't go in until October.
yeah.
Yeah, so I see what you're saying.
So I just need, we need to take the numbers we've added here and,
Well, and the way this is gonna work, Scott, is we're going through it today, but when we get
Yeah.
Gabby and Doug here, we'll do it a little more fine tooth comb. This is
see, I'm
just a
on the schedule
workshop.
again for next week or something,
Mhm.
so.
And then we'll sit down and look at these
some
rates.
Yeah, working off the same report and some accurate reports, cause there's
An accurate report.
Tonnage numbers.
a reason why this worksheet numbers are close to what they should be for that month.
Right.
What's the date at the top of it, the last date?
Well, they said this is as of, I don't know,
It should show right at the very top.
worksheet budget. This was done 3/7.
So you're 2 months behind.
I know.
I'm usually at
That's why
least
it's
4
not
months
accurate.
behind. Okay, so let's move on to the next thing. The contract's High Valley. That's what we pay Gem County to take the trash from High Valley.
Yeah, and it hasn't changed.
And it hasn't changed?
No, so we're just leaving it at that.
Well, I bet that goes up.
Yeah.
That might be something you'll have to look into with
Okay.
Gem County to see.
Because it hasn't gone up for the last 2 years, so I'm
No.
like,
Just a flat rate, they just charge
yeah,
flat
they
rate.
sent us a bill.
What did they go get?
They haul trash over there in High Valley for us, Gem County does, basically.
During the wintertime,
in the winter.
because it's only open from their side.
Oh.
Unless you guys want to start snowmobiling in with a
You are
groomer.
Totally fine doing what you're doing.
You don't want
Okay,
that
now the
one?
other one is credit card machine, and we haven't spent most of that, but I think we should leave it at, yep, no,
Yeah.
2 years ago, we spent almost that, so we're close.
Yeah, let's see, we bumped it to 28,000.
28,000 what I got.
Yep.
Now, other governmental services, I don't think that's been funded.
No, see, that's what we're paying Great West out of, that budget line.
So then we need to bump that up. We need a number in there. What have you got there?
At that time, we hadn't sat down with Travis and, and extended the contract with them, so we had it at 0. I can't remember what I put the claim in for now. He sent us a claim, to extend his contract. We had a little,
Less than 8,000.
that much? I don't know.
I'm gonna write a little note. What was this company called?
Great West Engineering. That claim should have come in today.
God, who you get to tip?
That was 1,569.25.
Well, I have that one
But
now.
what was the claim he put in this last week?
We paid that much.
That was in November.
I just submitted the claim today, or in today's packet that came. Okay,
The last one that we did was 1,569.25, and that was 11/21.
What did we budget last year? I don't even
well,
have that.
the coal con, we budgeted 25,000, and that's.
That's
what
not
they-
even on mine.
What they bid to do the study for.
Mine is, oh, I see. That was back in 21,
See, if you go back.
and we're
to
just
20
finishing up that study in 22.
Yeah, 'cause it didn't get started basically till 22, and
We have any other governmental service studies that we're gonna do? Well, I wanna put in $100 on that one, just to keep that line item open.
well, I say he has put in a request for it, so, but-
Yeah.
so what's gonna happen, basically, the 22 budget year's gonna go into the negative cause I'm gonna have to bill it off of that line. Cause the 1,569 that we didn't use didn't roll into this year's budget.
Oh, really?
I wasn't aware of, but that's, so it's, yeah, that budget line is probably gonna run into the negative this year.
Looking at it, we've got
What his claim, he sent me is for.
we've got quite a bit of, extras in different accounts. I think we'll be okay. It's going down to tipping fees, 390,000. And as of 6/27, we used 53% of that budget for 207,000.
So what is tipping?
That's what they charge you at the dump.
That's what we pay,
At-
that's what we
Pay
pay
at
Adams County and.
in Adams County. And while we're talking about that, I don't know if you guys know, but Adams County is in the process of becoming a regional landfill. And I got an email today from DEQ that they want us to kind of go in with them on it, because it helps for grants. But I talked to Mike Paradis, and their goal is to hopefully have it built by next year. And we can take all of our trash over there. So the long haul will go way down. And I don't know what their tipping fees are compared to Payette. They're about the same.
They might be. But I'm sure
It's like
that,
$1 a ton difference.
I'm sure that I can.
$23 a ton or something.
How much?
I think their difference is just a couple dollars per ton.
Yeah, cause we're at 20, I'm pretty sure we're at 20 down in Payette. They haven't raised that.
Yeah, I think they're like 23 or something at Adams County.
I think we're gonna see an increase on tipping fees possibly. But I'm sure you can negotiate if you're bringing in all of the trash to Adams County. We can negotiate with them on tipping fees.
They want our trash. They're gonna want the income to do that. That's just getting fired back up, and I'll keep you in the loop on that, where that goes.
So,
We may have to go for some meetings, you and I, over there to look at that.
so let's see. Right now, our tipping fee is going to pay it.
Mhm.
That's where we all,
It's going.
And Adams.
Well,
Adams
we
County-
take, what is it, a load a week to Adams County? 3 loads a week?
to Adams County.
You know, they can only take up to 20 ton.
They can take up to 100 tons a week
100 tons a week, right?
total. So we bring them about 80.
Okay, we
3
take
loads.
them 80 to Adams County.
Yep.
What's this Payette thing?
Payette landfill, go down to Payette.
Yeah.
Go down through Emmett and that way,
I
or
mean,
that,
Do we take stuff there? as
oh
well?
yeah, majority of it, majority of it.
The
Yeah.
majority goes there.
We
Okay,
do on average 15 loads a week. 3 of them go to Adams, the
Adams.
rest go to Payette.
okay. So if Adams County comes on board, you pay it, Ada. Okay, if Adams County comes on board, will they be able to take all of this?
Yes,
Yep.
which means our long haul
Would really go down,
is
right?
gonna go down, and I think To
I
Adams, you're
don't-
charging seven something to
don't-
load?
I don't think, you're still gonna have the same amount of tipping fee.
Tipping fees, but
Tipping
the
fees,
long
would be- but the
haul,
long haul miles would go way down.
yeah, long haul miles would be greatly reduced.
I think right now we're paying 1,100 to go to Payette per load. And I thought the last time I looked at Adams County, it was like 720 or something a load
The high, yeah.
for long haul
High.
fees. Cause it's half the distance. Come on, you should have those numbers in your head, man.
I do have them in my head, but I don't wanna say the wrong thing.
It's okay to say the wrong thing. I say it all the time.
The fee that you pay for the long haul, is there a separate, so it's like $72.50 a ton or something like that combined.
Yeah, that's operating cost in the long.
Right.
So
But,
they come off the same budget line is what they do.
cause what I'm trying to figure out is, are we charging a different long haul amount to Adams? So it's less than $72.50?
No, cause you're charging us by the ton to haul it over there.
Right, so
That's
that's what
on
I'm,
mile.
no, that's what I'm saying.
You're getting paid the same whether you haul it to Adams or Payette?
We're getting hauled by the, that's what I'm asking. I don't think there's a difference in the tonnage.
We need to talk about that
Yeah, I mean.
because that's a lot shorter distance.
It should be mileage. Long haul, shouldn't
I
it?
don't remember how
Are
the
you
contract.
charging $72 per ton per mile or just $72 a ton on the whole load to go?
We-
$72 a ton plus 100 mile.
No, we don't charge an extra, we don't, that, I do believe that there is a difference in price. Not on the handling of the material, at whatever that is, but on the hauling of it. There's a difference in the tonnage price going to Adams.
Oh, yeah, because it's high for distance.
Well, if you could get that number for us, Scott,
I'm gonna get it right now.
because that will really, that's the biggest part of this budget is the long haul. Next year's gonna be 841,000. And if we can shorten that trip up, we should get a break on that hauling. The other thing it does is allows you to make more trips with the same truck because it's closer.
You could cut down a number of trucks.
Okay, let's go on down while he's doing that. I forgot where we were. Capital equipment, we're gonna leave that at 5,000.
Yep.
Nothing else we need besides a new baler and a new.
Yeah, the Capitol building actually, that
And you-
one I have at 800,000.
And right, and what I would like you to do, Scott, is get a hold of R&M and see if that bid is still good. Maybe come up with a pretty solid quote.
See what they bid it at, they give you the bid plus whatever current market fee.
And then there'll be a fuel surcharge and all that other stuff
And,
too.
and that is to fabricate it and deliver it to the site. And so I don't know if they do it on the day they start fabrication, they look at the commodities market or wherever their steel price is, okay, that's what you bid, but that's what the bid said. Whatever it is plus whatever.
Are you gonna try to get that delivered this year and erected next year?
Well, it'll be in the 2023 budget, so they'll fabricate it through the winter and bring it in the spring, and we'll start then. Because it's not in this budget year. I mean, we can't. Once we get the money October 1st, we can't get it fabricated and up here before winter.
And they usually want a big check to start off with. And we don't have that. Do that big check as a deposit down.
So I'd like them to have it fabricated as soon as working conditions allow in the spring. Get up here and start getting it, because we're gonna have to arrange to do something with the containers while they're working in the area and everything else, so.
Which I think we have a pretty good plan for that.
Yeah, so,
What is your plan? Mind me asking, are you gonna move them out of the recycling center while they're building it?
yeah, because you can't have it in there with overhead cranes.
Oh, come on, we can risk it. Bong.
Which, yeah, it goes on the lawsuit with the county.
Yeah, just put it
Not
on.
mine.
Just pay the insurance premium.
Yeah.
No, we'll pull them out of there.
Hey, I think that's about all that I've got.
Yeah, I just,
Contingent, we didn't talk about
we just
contingent,
left that at the same,
which was,
717,600.
you know, now that number.
That's what actually I was paying the, paying shipping.
Okay,
On the landfill long haul, I haven't gotten the number yet, but, there's only been 52% spent this year
yeah,
with 4 months left. So you're probably gonna spend somewhere in the 68 to 70% of what you have budgeted for this year. And I believe that with that new facility over there, your budget for 23 should stay the same, but your budget for 24 would then change with the new haul rates going down, because they're not gonna have that completed. It's gonna be completed by,
Yeah, the 24.
if it's ready by fall and next year, I'll be surprised.
well, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So you don't have to, I guess what I'm trying to get at is wherever we're at right now, I'm not getting,
Yeah.
you're only gonna spend about 70% of what you had budgeted this year. So if you just rolled those same numbers over, that would give you another 30% increase. Because I'm guessing, I don't think we're down 30% on tonnage, but we're down several tons.
Okay.
So I think you'll be okay with that.
Okay, are we good, Scott?
Yeah,
And if you could give this to Doug and Gabby,
I will get you, Scott, total tonnage
okay,
year to date
Huh.
on Friday,
okay.
so that you can have that. So, and I will give you a 5-year trend,
So Scott, you're,
so that you'll have that for next week,
Okay.
if you guys need it. If you don't need
Yeah,
it,
because I actually have past budget worksheets and stuff, so I'm back to 20 is where I'm at. I can see what we spent those years, and then like I say, if you have a 5-year trend of how the
I do have a 5-year trend of the total, not what you guys spent, but
Yeah.
when you figure it out, I
the
guess.
tonnages.
But yeah, what the tonnages are,
Yeah.
because so like I budgeted 150 or 155,000 for this month,
Mhm.
and we're coming in at closer to, like, we're trending at 125.
Mhm.
are you saying that overall volume or tonnage is down?
That would be, yes, so the overall volume is down
Hmm.
for this month, and it's been that way this year.
Wonder why that,
It's kind of kept people away.
I think so.
is that
could be the
reflected,
coronavirus.
is that reflected in the recycle? Is that up maybe?
Blame everything on the virus.
Um,
One year I
no.
remember,
You can't, because technically speaking, by what the numbers are saying is recycle, the actual tonnage and volume of recycle is down since it's been moved to Lake Fork.
Oh, right, yeah,
However, because the product is cleaner,
clean, yeah,
there has been an increase to the county in return.
right,
Because it's a cleaner product.
Mhm.
Even though the volume is down,
right.
you know,
That makes
almost
sense.
30%, or,
Yeah.
25, 30%, the county has increased their return from that probably 50+%,
Yeah, because
because
we're,
of it's staying clean.
It's a good
Yeah,
position
so
to be
take
in.
their, how much percentage of the old
yeah,
tonnage was crap.
yeah. it landed up in
20% of that
landfill.
deer heads and, diapers and
oh yeah, yeah.
everything else that got thrown in there, so.
And then, and I think, we're in a good position as the volume picks up, we're just gonna make more off of it. When we know it's gonna be a clean product. I think it was a
If we-
smart thing to do.
Get some
really was.
Or get a real efficient building and a system to take it in there, and a new baler that'll crank it out, tie it up, spit it out. And we don't have to have someone down there trying to force wires around and tie stuff up, and potentially
No.
an accident happen there, I think, with the.
We got about 5 more minutes, then you guys are gonna have to quit, but we're not gonna be able to do buildings and grounds. But I want Scott to explain to Ed the issue with trying to recycle glass.
There is not a market, so to speak, out there for glass recycling. There are some places you may hear about throughout the United States or the world they use it for road mix and they use it for different things like that. One of the problems that the county had when they accepted glass here was that it was contaminated. Our geographical area doesn't really allow for us to be able to sit there and roll over, for the county to be able to roll over glass and crush it and do all of that, right? So glass doesn't have a place specifically in the recycle world as a commodity, such as plastic is reused as a plastic. Different plastics have different chemical compounds in their little micro whatevers. I don't know how it all works, but different plastic has to be broke down in a different way because the chemical makeup of that plastic is different than other plastic. That's why your 1s and 2s get separated and you have 3 through 7s. You're able to recycle your cardboard because it's being recycled back into a cardboard or a paper or whatever. Your paper, your magazines are able to be recycled back into paper or insulation or whatever it is. Glass is not able to be recycled back into glass. So there has to be a kind of a special dedicated place to where that glass is going. Now, I do think that, who's the guy? I mean, we use Pro Recycling, Smokey and I can't remember his son's name. I think there might be some programs there that they might have some specialty programs for that. But we don't have a way to get the product from A to B, right? So you can't bale,
Right.
so it has to be hauled as a bin.
Well, yeah.
Yes, and it just, like I say, a lot of places, and not just Valley County, but a lot of counties have tried
Mixing it in road mix.
mixing it in road mix, and there's varied results. I would imagine that you could probably go out there and ask around a few different places, and they're going to tell you it works great. Here in Valley County, I know that Jeff has made some comments that it was,
Falls apart.
yeah, it just doesn't work up
I
here.
heard that too, but I don't understand why it'd work one place and not another, and that kind of thing.
Well,
So,
I think that I'm not a road guy. That's not my specialty, but I know what the roads do in the winters up here, and I would just imagine that it's probably our geographical area being, weather. We're so limited on our scope of what we can do by the weather. I would imagine that when it gets super cold, it's just going to fall apart.
anyway, there's a company I know that was brought to our attention that actually makes machines. It creates different products and, everything from like really, really fine sand to creates aggregate, and they use it in like landscaping and various things like that. But then again, you got to have a market. So, yeah,
And that's what I say. You have to have the facility to be able to make that.
yeah, that's right.
There's-
That's all part of this CIP thing.
I mean, if you figure, what is there, 10,000 people total in Valley County?
Yeah,
11,670.
11,670 people. Not everybody drinks out of a glass bottle.
what's wrong with them?
I don't know, but it's going to take a lot of glass to make a program like that work, right?
Well, one of the big issues is you have to get the label off. If you can't get the label off and the glue off,
And that was
it
one of
doesn't
the things
grind.
and that was one of the things that Jeff was saying.
I got labels blowing all over the place.
Yeah, exactly. All the trash and stuff. I think that.
Yeah,
I think for the size that Valley County is, this recycle program that's currently going on, since the changes have been made and we've all, between Lakeshore and Pro Recycling in Valley County, I think this is one of the more successful recycled programs
In this area.
for a rural area than in most places.
Mhm.
Most places in our size have discontinued their recycling.
Mhm.
So I would say that to a certain extent, we're probably a poster child for success.
Well, and if you really think about it, what we did is we shifted the cost on transporting that recycled material to the people that created it, not Lakeshore. We were paying Lakeshore last time to haul it all and get it all baled and then find out it was too dirty and ended up going in the landfill. So we're paying the most expensive way to get rid of trash to Lakeshore.
Yep.
And we transferred that cost on to the people bringing the recycling. And I think over time, it'll pick up. It will.
Yeah,
And it's very successful. I would say, I think Scott has a great idea on the next step for building this program is the building, the better baler,
Yeah.
getting Lakeshore to even get better at the sorting. I mean, we've got some really clean product going out to the consumers now. And to Mr. Hasbrook's point, it's, yes, there's a cost for the trucks to come in and get the cardboard, but it comes out of the proceeds that come back to the county.
Right.
The guys that are hauling the paper and the aluminum and the plastic, there's a very slight cost there for transporting it, but the material that they're getting is paying the county now a better proceed. So
And honestly, we're probably still losing a lot of money on the program. The first few years, it was around 200,000. I think the last I looked, we were losing about 70,000 to offer the program to the constituents of the county. But
it's
it
costing.
feels good.
Yeah.
It makes it, and it costs us money to get the trash. It costs us money to do a lot of things, but at least it's not going in a landfill.
Well, yeah, exactly. And
Yeah.
it's not getting put
That's a
out
good-
on
that's a
barge
goal.
in the ocean.
Right, or dumped in the water, whatever.
So we've got a really good program going right now, and maybe in the future there would be room for glass, but at this point, I really don't see that in the near future. But in 5 to 10 years, maybe
Yeah.
it comes up and we sit down and we discuss it.
You like to keep that window open, and that's part of that CIP thing is when you do these facilities, be thinking ahead about the possibility of these things evolving to where we can manage them. Yeah.
Yeah.
And,
Okay, guys, we're out of
thanks, Scott. I
time.
appreciate it.
Thanks. Next time we'll try and have y'all working off the same page.
Yeah.
It makes it a lot easier to understand.
We got
Right.
different reports with 3 different percentages on it.
It took me about 3 years to figure all this out, and
Yeah.
when you're all working on the same page, it's much better.
I didn't set up the schedule, so I'll give it to Gabby tomorrow. I do have it written down on my paperwork.
Because maybe they'll put me as an action.
It needs to be an action on it so we can approve that raise,
Wrote it down
which
that
we
way.
probably won't, but we'll talk about it anyway.
But do we need to skip them? Remember, I can fly my drone over to your house
Yeah,
and really
yeah.
buzz you and bug you.
Get your shotgun out.
I have another drone that's bigger than your drone.
You do?
Yeah, had it for years.
Yeah.